Federal High Court in Kano on Thursday declared Mohamed Abacha as the authentic governorship candidate of the PDP in the state, ordering that Abacha's name be cleared by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Reacting to the judgment, the running mate to Wali, Dr. Yusuf Danbata, disagreed with the judgment and confirmed that the Wali camp of the party has appealed the judgment. A representative of the Mohamed Abacha camp, Mohamed Jamo, had earlier insisted that the judgment that declared Abacha as the lawful PDP candidate is in order. He also blamed the PDP national leadership over the crisis rocking the Kano chapter of the party. The Federal High Court in Abuja has dismissed a suit by former Minister of State for Education Chukwuemeka Nwajuba seeking to void the nomination of Bola Tinubu as the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC. In a judgment yesterday, Justice Ibrahim stated that it was statute barred, having been filed outside the jurisdiction. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has reaffirmed Chief Ikechi Emenike as the duly elected governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC in Abia State. In a judgment delivered on 3 appeal cases before it, the appeal panel led by Justice Peter Olabisi Ige held that the May 26, 2022 primary, which produced Emenike, was valid. APC and Emenike had filed separate appeals challenging the judgment delivered by Justice Binta Iyako, upholding a purported direct primary that produced Samson Uche Oga, one of the governorship aspirants. Dan Eke also filed an appeal challenging the judgment of the trial judge that recognized Oga's purported candidacy. However, Justice Ige was concerned that the lower court failed to resolve the issue of jurisdiction, which the appellant court considered germane. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has met with former President Goodluck Jonathan at his Yenagoa residence in Bayelsa State. Obi met with the former president behind closed doors yesterday evening ahead of his presidential campaign in the state. According to Jonathan, Nigeria is extremely divided and called on Obi, if elected, to make it his first task to unite the country. The former president also commended the presidential candidate for taking the bold step to contest the election next year outside the 2 major parties. Obi was accompanied by his running mate, Yusuf Baba Ahmed, and other party stalwarts. Gunmen have abducted a Catholic priest of Otukpo Diocese in Benue State, Mark Ojotu. Reverend Father Ojotu, the chaplain of St. Mary's Hospital, Opoga, was abducted along Opoga Ajapo Road. Chancellor of the Diocesan Secretariat, Joseph Itodo, confirmed the abduction in a letter addressed to priests and religious faithfuls. Spokesperson of Benue Police Command, Catherine Anene, said the incident was reported to the command yesterday. He added that the police have commenced the investigation. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for the Idiato North and South Federal Constituency, Ikenga Imo Ugochiri, has reportedly escaped assassination. It was gathered that the attack happened yesterday night. Although it is not exactly clear where the attack occurred in Imo State, the House of Representatives Hoppol said some persons in his convoy had not been seen. The candidate disclosed the attack on his Facebook page and called on the state police authorities to arrest those behind the attack. As of press time, the state government and the police authorities are yet to confirm the incident. In the meantime, terrorists have killed the village head of Molo community in Mashigu local government area of Niger State, Usman Garba. The suspected terrorists invaded the community on Thursday and abducted 4 people, including the village head. It was gathered that Malam Garba was murdered some distance from the village. His body was left behind while the terrorists went with the 3 others. Niger State Commissioner of Internal Security, Emmanuel Umar, confirmed the incident during a security briefing yesterday. And here in Osun State, the state government has asked the former governor Boyiga Oyetola and other appointees in the past administration to return government vehicles worth over 2.9 billion naira. The government issued the directive to Oyetola, his wife Kafayat Oyetola, and other former appointees through its Asset Recovery Panel. According to the chairman of the Asset Recovery Committee, Dr. Bashiru Salami, After due diligence, the committee concluded that the affected past officials should return government vehicles in their possession. He called on all affected officials to return the vehicles in their possession immediately to avoid coercive procedures for recovery of state assets. He disclosed that the former deputy governor has more than 7 government vehicles in his custody, contrary to the provisions of the law. He added that this was the first batch of vehicles to be retrieved, stating that the government will soon come up with the second batch. Still in Osun State, the Bishop of Catholic Diocese of Osogbo, Most Reverend John Oyejola, has advised the new Osun State government of Senator Ademola Adeleke to ensure his administration is a listening one. The Catholic bishop, who spoke in an interview with Rave FM News, also called on Governor Adeleke to ensure quality projects that are embarked upon, provision of jobs, good roads, education, and security. Bishop Oyejola decried the terrible state of education in Osun State and dismissed claims that education is free in the state. He then advocated the return of mission schools to the original owners. Bishop Oyejola urged Governor Adeleke to listen to the people who want the best for his government and not praise singers.
I would like to say for this new one is to be a listening government. Listen to what people are saying, are asking for, and then sit down and look which of those requests are authentic. Don't do things that are very cheap for people. People might ask things that are very cheap, sharing money. That is not it. Do what is basic. Provide good roads, provide jobs, provide protection for people. Let people feel that they are safe. When they feel that they are safe in their own community, in their own state, you have done so much for them. So, and let them be able to get good job to do. It's very important. Education is vital as well. Education in Osun State is zero, except those who have money to send their children to private schools or mission schools. All of them are claiming they are doing free education. Is a lie. I'm asking if education is free and the quality of education you are providing is good, why your children, all your commissioners and children are not going there? Why do you take them to all these private schools and then special schools or mission schools? If they are good, let your children go to those schools too as well. That means that the quality of the education is zero. So I'm asking if you will listen. Let those who can run this thing for you be part of this administration. Invite those mission schools. Give the schools back to them.
You're watching the Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We'll be right back after this break.
From all of us at Western Spring Television, this is wishing you Merry Christmas.
In business news, a lot of traders have lamented on the low turnout of buyers as Christmas approaches. Buyers, on the other hand, are complaining bitterly on the hike in price. Olayinka Ale was at Igbono Market and continues the story from here.
Prices of commodities in the markets, particularly foodstuffs such as rice, chicken, turkey, and other soup ingredients, including onions and tomatoes, have skyrocketed as Nigerians jet towards the festive celebration. The constant rise in food inflation has left families uncertain about how they will celebrate Christmas this year. However, the day before Christmas, Western Spring Television News looked at food prices to see how families would be able to afford the rising cost of the celebration. The year has been dominated by the cost of living crisis, with inflation at 21.47% in November, the highest in 17 years, and far outpacing wage growth, according to data from the National Bureau of Statistics. Western Spring Television visited the popular Igbono Market to ascertain the cost of rice and other necessary food items that are customary for the festive celebration. At the market, a lot of vendors bemoaned the rising cost of foodstuff when asked what might be the cause of the skyrocketing prices. They pointed to escalating transport costs and high exchange rates. According to them, every time there is a price increase, high transportation costs are primarily to blame. Martins Eze, who sells female shoes, has said people didn't come to buy from him this festive season as they do every other year because of how expensive things are.
People are not coming out the way we expected because of the high cost of the goods, and that is what we bought is what we sell. So you can't expect us to finance the goods for them. So that
the tray of Adejumobi, Abibat Omolade, Khadijat Hakim complained bitterly that they haven't sold since they go to the market in the morning because consumers are complaining of how expensive their wares are. Young Bamidele Suleiman, who helps his father in his store in the Igbono Market, believed the government can assist his father and other traders to reduce the cost at which they buy wares.
Shop now, people have not really patronized us today, so people have not really patronized us. They have not really sell this festive system, this period like this, so we have not really sell a lot due to the price of inflation of goods and services. So
Gloria Dennis, a seafood monger, claimed the hike in transportation affected her business, which has made it difficult for her customers to pay.
The reason why we don't see much people on the streets like today now being third day to the Christmas is because things are very, very expensive. Plus the fuel fee and the transportation, everything altogether makes things the cost of prices high, which means, and then, our economy is somehow bad. There's no money in the nation, and then many people are crying. So coming to the market is as if they are just coming to the market to just themselves because what they have cannot actually afford what they want to buy. Like this, I could remember before I traveled down, a cup of this is sold at the rate of 115 naira. And just for me to come back now, and it has actually increased to 215 naira. You see 100 naira different. That's so.
For Winners Okeze, the inflation in prices made people not to patronize him, as they also because the price of his item has increased than it was.
Coming to buy markets because of the inflation in price. So every day, if you go to market every day, you will not be the same price you buy goods. So that's why people do complain of buying markets. So another thing again is that this crayfish now, we sold 300 naira last time, but today now if you go to the market now it's 500 naira. Like this stockfish now, we have sizes that we sell 500 before, 700 before, but now we're selling 1.5, 2,000 naira, 3,000 and above. So people are complaining that things are getting expensive day by day.
Aramide Akolade, who sells live chicken, complained that the increase in fees made them sell live chicken at a high rate this year because they can't sell less than what he bought.
People are complaining about the hardship in the country, so they're just saying that there is no money. I know that's what we read that we're going to sell based on the kind of feed that we're buying, the increment in the feed we're buying. So nobody wants to do a business and run at loss. So that is why people are complaining about these are 6,000 naira, but last price 5,000 naira now. And there is something less than 5 naira. You can't see it lesser than that in any way because that's what we are buying and we are going to sell it the rate that we are buying it. So So that's just the reason. People are complaining that no, these things is too cost to kind of stuff like that. But as we are still hope for the best, yeah.
While sellers are complaining about the low outcome of buyers, especially at a day to Christmas, consumers are lamenting bitterly on the hike in the prices of commodities. Olayinka Ali, Western Spring Television News.
Jigawa State Governor Muhammad Badru has signed the state's 178.5 billion naira budget for the 2023 fiscal year into law. Governor Badru signed the budget after it was passed to him by the State House of Assembly earlier in the week. The governor expressed satisfaction with the state budget performance in the last 7 years of his administration. Governor Badru said the 2023 budget was designed to consolidate all the gains made in the last 7 years, particularly in the area of fiscal and human capital development. On the foreign scene, at least 20 people have been killed after a blaze swept through a home for the elderly in the Siberian city of Kemerovo. Russian officials say another 6 people were injured as the entire top floor of the 2-story wooden building was gutted by the overnight fire. Initial reports say it may have been caused by a faulty heating boiler. Officials said the private home for the elderly was operating illegally. Dozens of firefighters were deployed and the blaze was extinguished this morning. The governor of the region said all similar facilities will now be inspected and a criminal inquiry has been launched. Turning to Asia, India has mandated a COVID-19 negative test report for travelers arriving from China, Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, and Thailand. This was announced by the country's health minister today. The minister said passengers from those countries will be put under quarantine if they showed symptoms of COVID-19 or tested positive. And to the exciting world of sports, 7-time champions Nigeria will have been drawn against host nation Egypt, Senegal, and Mozambique in Group A of the 2023 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations finals scheduled for Egypt. The draw in Cairo also placed Uganda, Central African Republic, South Sudan, and Congo in Group B, while the Gambia, Tunisia, Benin Republic, and Zambia will battle in Group C. The Egypt 2023 Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations will take place from 19th February to 11th March 2023. It is the first time that the Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations will witness 12 teams, with the 4 top teams in Egypt qualifying to represent Africa at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup finals in Indonesia. Claudio Ranieri has been reappointed Cagliari boss more than 3 decades after first managing the club. The 71-year-old Italian made his name as a manager with the Italian side between 1988 and 1991, taking them from Serie C to Serie A. Ranieri has signed a deal until the summer of 2025 in his first role since being sacked by Watford in January. Before we end the news, here is a recap of our top stories. The Sadiq Wali faction of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Kano State has challenged the judgment declaring the governorship primary that produced Wali as the party's candidate invalid. Gunmen have abducted a Catholic priest of Otukpo Diocese in Benue State, Mark Ojotu. On the foreign scene, we told you that at least 20 people have been killed after a blaze swept through a home for the elderly in the Siberian city of Kemerovo. You can follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Western Spring Television. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. That ends Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We thank you most sincerely for viewing. On behalf of the entire transmission team, we say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in advance. Sunday is my name.